I mean, I'll have a coffee in the middle of the day. Today is one of those days. There we go. Step one is working. Go live here. Nice. Come on, Instagram. I believe in you. Facebook is already live, so we're going to go and get started today. You know, it's interesting because basically when you're running a system like this, these two pretty much stay the same. But this one always changes. So we'll figure out why it's not working later. We're just going to go ahead and get started. Today we're going to talk about a couple different things, and the first one is going to be micro shifting. So as the move has gone to more remote work, we're noticing, or the people that, you know, do all this stuff are noticing that sitting in front of a desk for 8 hours a day doesn't work. Massive surprise. I don't want to sit in front of a tiny screen or a big screen for 4 to 8 hours a day. So what they're calling this is micro shifts, and I actually really like this. And the funny part is micro shift is, you know, work for a little bit, take a break, work for a little bit, take a break, and you can actually be more productive because you're focusing on those little shifts, right? But what's interesting is this has been proven over and over and over again. This is not anything new. What is new is stay in a place for 4 to 8 hours and work. It kind of cracks me up because that's exactly what we force our kids to do in school. And we're noticing, especially in Texas, the massive amount of pushback now for schools. Have you noticed the amount of homeschooling that is on the incline? It's almost like people are going, hey, I don't want to be sitting in one position for 4 to 8 hours and trying to focus on one thing. You're not wired that way. So if you get a chance, this is on fortune.com. It goes into, breaks it down. It's very, very interesting how it's breaking down, you know, hey, people only want to work 45 to 90 minutes. Stop pushing so hard for them to sit there for 4 to 8 hours. I don't see this as a massive change. I see this as people going, hey, I'm tired of being unnatural. Now let's get back to a natural rhythm of things. So next thing is, if you've been watching, they're forecasting that the US dollar is going to collapse. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go again. How often has this exact thing been said? Like, the dollar is going to collapse. The dollar is going to collapse. It's almost rhetoric at this point in time. The dollar doesn't collapse, it shifts. Now, does the dollar have as much buying power as it did in the past? No. Why? Look at the US government. When you have billions of dollars being spent in very unethical ways, that contributes to the devaluation of the dollar. When you add more dollars to being in circulation, it devalues the dollar. It's funny because when we have these conversations like this, there's a reason why they say buy physical assets. And I'll even challenge you. I have a friend who's really big in the crypto space. Maybe not just buy physical assets, but buy digital assets. That way, if the dollar does get devalued, which it will, you've hedged against that. You're not just playing the market. So, you know, things you need to think about. We're going to hop over to the iPhone 18. Hey, iPhone 18, they're thinking about moving the camera. Ooh, big whoop-de-doo. Moving it from the center over to the side, you know, where you have the clock and everything. Why? Because selfie cameras are never going to disappear. Have you ever noticed that when you're using the selfie camera, there's a certain little green light that shows up on your phone? You might want to be aware. All right, so here we go, right? Now a little bit of crypto. Bitcoin's crashing. Oh, no. If you're like me, now's the time to buy or mine better, thank you. Very much appreciate that. There's this guy, his name is Ross Riker. If you know him, I want him to come do an episode on cryptocurrency. If you're in Mighty Men and you've listened to this guy speak on crypto, he will blow your mind with the amount of knowledge that he has. People nerd out on certain things. He nerds out on crypto. I need to have him on the show. Remind me if you see me and ask me or pester him a little bit to get him onto the show. Let's talk about this latest and greatest thing because this is more in my space. This is the AI glasses. Meta is coming out now with Gen 2 of these glasses. You'll notice the pricing has gone up on these, but you notice a very, very different look. Look at these Vanguards. Oh my goodness. If you are in some kind of a sport and you wear glasses, this is going to be your new best friend. Imagine being able to, you're doing some kind of, and I'm going to call it a triathlon because you're probably not going to wear these while you're swimming, but while you're running and biking, imagine if you could do a first person view of what you see. If you're in any kind of sports, how much is this going to be able to help you, just contribute to not just your content, but, give people what does it look like in your sport at that moment when people go, oh, that was such a bad call. Why did you do that move? Now we get to see it from your point of view. This could change a lot of different things. My personal favorite, though, that is here are these. These right here. Never mind. That's not them. Hold on. This. The ones with the built-in display. Having a HUD on your glasses. How far this is moving and how fast this is moving. We had Gen 1 just a couple of years ago. Gen 2 is out, and I would almost consider this Gen 3 because it has so much technology built in, and you control it with your wrist. There's a company out there that is already developing technology where you're going to look at something, and if you're wearing glasses like these, it's going to come to life. Augmented reality is going to be the new marketing playground. You're going to see blank walls, and if you're in augmented reality marketing or anything like that, or AI marketing, that becomes a canvas for you to put up certain displays that are just for a very specific demographic because they have the money to afford these glasses. This is the future right here. All right. Well, for those of us that are still using consoles to play games, I think the console thing is dead, personally. Because now people are actually able to put, look at this, a PS5 and then an Xbox X and a Switch all in one system. And with the rise of 3D printing, you build the actual framework for it. It's almost like silencers. You could 3D print silencers now for almost any firearm. That's crazy. So be aware, if you have a console, that is probably going to go away here soon. You just need to go and buy a gaming system or virtual reality system like the Meta Quest, because these are going away. These are going away. They're too expensive to get. What you spend on an Xbox X, you could pretty much, that's halfway to a gaming computer. Just invest in the gaming computer. Just be done with it. So let's actually go into a little bit of what we do here at Kinetic Curve. And the first thing that we do at Kinetic Curve is we build foundational elements. Well, what does that mean? Oh, let me tell you. Digital foundational elements like Google Analytics. Now, this one, I'm going to show you Google Analytics. Know that there's a whole Google foundation. There are 7 pieces just to make Google happy. This person right here came to us. She said, hey, I want you all to do my marketing. I don't know how well my current marketing agency is doing, and I'm running Google ads. And I go, oh, really? Your current agency, the people that are charging you money, are running Google ads. And they were running Google ads during this part. Let me help you break this down a little bit further. These people were running ads for this business owner. All through this. If you don't have Google Analytics on your website built correctly, and you're paying someone to run Google ads, you're not doing it right. There's an integration, a connection between Google Analytics and Google Ads that helps Google Ads with targeting. Let me show you. When Google Ads goes over to Google Analytics and goes, hey, what can you tell me about the people going to your website? It pulls all kinds of demographic data, not just location, not just their gender, their income, what they like and don't like, because Google pretty much knows everything about you, whether you want them to or not. But it also tells you where they're going on your website. So if you're running Google ads, or even better, if you're running Facebook ads or TikTok ads or any kind of ads like that, I don't know why we got stuck on Russia. Let's get stuck better on the United States. And you don't have this built, I do question, and I ask you to question the agency that you're paying to run your Google ads. If they don't have the most important, the single most important element of marketing built for you, and you have access to it, and you own it, what are you doing? What are they doing? So if you're right now using a marketing agency, and you don't know if you have access to Google Analytics, you go to Analytics, the URL's right here, analytics.google.com. Make sure you're on Google Chrome. Do not try to do this on Microsoft Edge. Do not try to do this within Safari. Make sure you're on Google Chrome. Go to analytics.google.com. And if they ask you to set up Google Analytics, then you don't have Google Analytics set up. If you're like, well, my marketing agency is handling it. Great. Do they own it? Or do you own it? If you leave that marketing agency right now, do they get to keep your Google Analytics and they just disconnect it so they get to keep all of that historical data? Or do you own it and you get to take it with you? I'm asking you this question because I have new clients that were brought on last week, and their old marketing agency said, hey, we're going to take the Google Analytics tag off of your website now. And then the new client for us was like, well, is that not mine? And they go, no, we set it up. You didn't pay for that. If you'd like to pay X dollars, you can have it. The amount of money they were asking the client to pay to have access to their own Google Analytics was very expensive in the marketing world. So I challenge you, make sure you do this. Now, when we talk about AI reputation management and other things of that nature, and your Google assets and your Apple assets and your Yelp assets and your Bing or Microsoft assets, know that this is the single most important piece. You have to have this built. If you are like, hey, Nick, I really don't want to ask my current marketing agency, I don't want to ask my current marketing team, do we have this? Great, DM me. I will show you. I will show you very quickly how you can check for yourself, and you don't have to let anyone know that you're questioning them or looking over their shoulder. But this is a very, very important piece for wherever you are. Thank you guys for joining me today and spending a little bit of time. I'm now going to go home and switch into dad mode and spend time with the kids because the workday's over. Hey, if you're over in Dallas, Texas, and you think we're going to have snow, let me know if you think we're going to have snow or not, because I think we are. I think the whole city is going to shut down. But what do you think? Thank you guys for joining me. Have a great day. I'll chat with you later. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all.